Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the new week of inspirational stories and thoughts and meaningful ideas. We call this a morning check in, and in fact, for me, these morning check ins are very valuable because it is what distinguishes one day from the next. I think the greatest challenge of this stay at home order and the isolation and whatever you want to call this is the lack of a flow of time. Everything is just one consistent flow. And having these check ins and dialogues with each of you in the morning gives me a tremendous structure in the day. So it's good to check in. And we have new stories and different ideas that we have in store this week, and I look forward to sharing them with you. But the most important thing that we always have to remember is that not only is it that we're staying indoors or we're staying isolated or we are staying alone, but regardless of where we are, we can always make an impact. And when you talk about making an impact, I don't think the stories get better than the one I want to share now. This takes us back a few years, not too many years ago, to the city of Hebron in Israel. And in Hebron, there is a group of courageous soldiers that protect the holy sites. And this story in particular takes place in an early morning when the streets were very quiet and not too many people around. And there was different foot soldiers in different neighborhoods protecting the area. This particular IDF soldier, member of the Israeli Defense Force, his name was Yoni. Yoni was patrolling a street when from the back he is attacked by an Arab terrorist and he's shot. And there he is alone. Nobody heard the shot. It was early in the morning. And there he is lying on the street, just laying to bleed to death. Luckily, a few blocks away, there was another soldier in the neighboring community, I guess, with however they separate the streets there. And he did hear the shot. He didn't know where it was, but he kind of ran in that direction, and out of the corner of his eye, he sees a fellow IDF soldier laying on the ground. And he realized this soldier was just shot. He runs over to Yoni, and Yoni is barely alive. You can see the blood just all over the place. The soldier finds where the shot was, immediately applies pressure, literally holding his life in his hand as he's radioing in to his commander to send reinforcement. And there he is, applying pressure, praying that he can still save this person's life, the soldier's life, Yoni's life. And as he is holding this, he hears the ambulance come. They take Yoni into the ambulance and take him to the local hospital. Yoni, the injured soldier, is taken, and luckily they were able to revive him and spare his life. And the soldier who saved his life, as soon as he was able to know that everything was in control with Yoni, he just went back to his patrol. And really, no one knew who this soldier that saved Yoni's life was, because the ambulance came and they were focused on Yoni's life. In the hospital, everybody's focused on Yoni. The soldier who saved his life just got the information and left, and he kind of disappeared like an angel. Nobody knew who he was. And the mother, Yoni's mother, was a little upset about this. Obviously, she was happy her son was alive, but she wanted to say thank you to the soldier who saved her son's life. And she couldn't. She didn't know, and this brought her a lot of anguish. She wanted to share and express her gratitude. Well, she figured, Israel is a very a small place, and Israel is a very small place. Let me just get back on here. And she had a little makolet, it's called, a little, grocery, and she decided to put a sign on the door and tell the story. My son's life was saved. If you know the soldier who saved him, please let me know. She figured Israel's a small country and somebody will read the sign and tell the story, and sooner or later she'll find the angel that she was looking for. 1 month goes by, 2 months go by, a few months go by. Nobody knows. A year later, as a lady walking by this little grocery, and she decides she's going to go into the grocery, And as she walks into the store, she sees the sign on the door and she reads it. And all of a sudden, she just like has this sense of joy overwhelm her. And she runs into the store and speaks to the owner and says, I know the soldier. The soldier was actually my son Benny. He was on patrol that week, and I remember him coming home for Shabbat and being so happy and telling us a story about how he was able to save a soldier's life. So I can tell you who or where he is. The mom, the store owner, Yoni's mother, the wounded soldier's mother, was like, wow. A year later, she finally found this angel, the soldier, the angel. She was just, thrilled and so thankful. Before she really got carried away, they checked out different details of the story, and this was just amazing. But here's where the incredible thing really happens. Benny's mom, Benny, the soldier who saved Yoni's life, looks at Yoni's mom's eyes. Yoni's mom is the owner of the store. And she asks Yoni's mom, do you remember me? And Yoni's mom looks into her eyes and can't recall. So Benny's mom, the soldier who saved Yoni's life's mom, looks at Yoni's mom, the store owner, says, I used to live here. Today, I just happened to be passing by. I was in the neighborhood, and I want to just stop in and say hello, buy a few things just to support your grocery. Because 20 years ago, I lived here. And 20 years ago, I would always buy. Every morning, I would come buy my eggs, milk, the bread, and buy our needs on a daily basis. I figured, let me come back and support the store. And then I saw this story, and it reminded me of my son and your son. And the store owner doesn't understand what she's telling her. So she says, when I lived here 20 years ago, one morning I walked in, I bought my groceries, you checked me out, but then you noticed that I was very, very down. And you asked me what's going on. And I told you how tough things are in my life. And not only are things so tough, but now I've become pregnant. And it's just so overwhelming that I'm considering an abortion. As soon as you heard the word an abortion, you right away called your husband from the back of the store. You didn't care what was going on. There were other customers there. You sat down with me and you spoke to me with such empathy, with such kindness, with such loving words, telling me how things are challenging, but sometimes we have to go through challenging times to find blessing. And having a child is so challenging, but having the child to hug in your arm, hearing the words Ima from your little baby is such a rewarding experience. And you gave me such encouragement. You gave me such insight into how to handle challenging times that when I left, I felt so much love and warmth that I decided to go through full term with this child and to give birth. And because of that, you were able to save your son's life. The mother still isn't getting it. And she continues, I had that baby 20 years ago. Today he's a soldier in the IDF, and he was the one who saved your son's life in Hebron. And she tells her, 20 years ago, you saved my son's life. A year ago, my son saved your life, your son's life. And this story is just so to the point of how we go through such challenging times of struggle. And it's all sometimes it takes is a friendly person reaching out, talking to you, giving you the little encouragement you need, giving you the boost to make it over the hump, to which you find blessing and joy. And when you help someone, you're helping yourself. Maybe it's not so dramatic as Yoni and Benny. Maybe it's not as dramatic as these two women. But it's always dramatic. Because every time you help someone, it helps you. When we're living through challenging and dark times, and let's be honest, as these days are moving on, things are not really getting easier. I would say the uncertainty is getting harder and harder. The stress levels, anxiety levels are rising. I know. I'm a human being. I see it with people I love and people I know. I see it with the people I speak to. I hear it from so many people in our community and other communities. These are really challenging times. And there's one thing we can all do to break through that darkness is reach out and help someone. Because when you're going to call that person and you're going to reach out to that person, at that moment you will be helped. Because light brings light. And you're not going to have to wait 20 years. Just recently I called someone I haven't spoken to in a while. And just last night, I don't really always check my Facebook messages, and I saw this. And he writes to me, a person who's been at home because he wasn't well for long before Corona. And I haven't spoken to him in many months. And I called him last week. And he says, just wanted to say thanks for last week's call to say hello. It meant a lot. Calls mean a lot. Not even texting. Pick up the phone. Call someone. Help someone. It will bring you light. It will bring you positive energy. And it will give you strength to navigate through these challenging times. These stories that we share of others are merely indications and reflectors of the stories that we are all producing and can produce. The dramatic outcomes of other people's stories are just there to tell us that these are the dramatic outcomes in your story. You may not always see it, you may not always feel it, but understand and believe that every time we can help someone, we lift them just a centimeter higher than where they were, you have lifted them to greatest heights that they would never imagine that they can be. And in the process, you lift yourself as well. So I want to wish everyone a wonderful, meaningful day. We will continue talking about this in many different ways, giving each and every one of us together not only encouragement, but guidance, direction, and support to be able to find these moments of positivity and light to be able to help us navigate through these challenging times. And as always, I invite you to our website, jewishcenter.info / let me just get that up here. Actually, we have an easier one, virtualjewishcenter.org, to continue to draw from the energy of our tradition and our faith to help us navigate through these challenging times. And before we conclude, I don't want to leave without congratulating our winner from our last night's JTEX, Tamara Rosenberg, who was the seventh to answer the question correctly and have the fun and excitement, and of course, sooner than later, get her bottle of wine. But more importantly, I want to invite everyone to join every Sunday and every Wednesday, 7 p.m. sharp. You get a text, you get a question, and within 10-15 minutes, you've connected with a larger community in reaching into your faith and drawing from your faith the guidance and inspiration that you need. So I'd like to sign off today, wishing everyone a wonderful and meaningful day. Make sure to find those few moments that you can bring positive encouragement to someone else. That will be the source of the positive encouraging energy for your own life to be able to make you go forward. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow morning.